Hi, my name is Samantha Estepho, and today I'm here to talk to you about an important friend, the loyal and the humble honeybee. When I say honeybee, what exactly comes to your mind? Perhaps you envision an annoying little creature that buzzes around you and interrupts your time at the park. Or maybe you're allergic, and to you, a honeybee is some sort of lethal threat. One thing cannot be denied, however, and that is that in our contemporary society, a honeybee's value is intrinsic, priceless, and irreplaceable. Honeybees have a symbiotic relationship with nature, which means that they're the sex facilitators for plants that cannot exchange sex cells without the help. This important process of cross-pollination is essential for the survival of all biodiversity. After all, 80% of Australia's nut, fruit, vegetable, and green crops are pollinated by bees, valued at 1.2 billion a year. When it comes to the honeybee's extrinsic value, they are essentially the key to our economic well-being and agricultural success. They produce around 60 million worth of honey, and that's 30,000 tonnes of honey in Australia a year. For those of you unaware of the process of how honey is created, first the worker bee goes out and collects pollen and nectar, then it carries a quarter of its weight of that pollen and nectar back to its hive. The pollen is fed to the offspring, and then the nectar is passed from mouth to mouth, from bee to bee, until its moisture content is reduced from 70% to 20%. Thus, sweet honey is created. It is stored in cells and capped in wax. This will then be used during the winter, and it will feed the whole hive. Wait, but hold on. If the bees need this honey during the winter in order to survive and to consume for themselves, how does it end up in our households? Well, the thing is, and the reality is, that over time, humans have learnt to manage honeybees, and this is as close as we can possibly get to domesticating them. This means that our relationship has become more symbiotic in its own way. Although we rob bees of honey, beekeepers across the world are raising colonies in hives and are working to sustainably and systematically ensure that these colonies stay healthy and happy. Hives are therefore protected from diseases and infection and are planted in natural and domesticated environments where the bees can access an array of food sources. The relationship between human and honeybees, however, could be more symbiotic. At times it seems that humans are actually taking more than they're giving and sabotaging biodiversity. The big scare now is that our lack of sustainable efforts to preserve our natural ecosystems are potentially endangering one of our most important pollinators. Problems arising from global climate change, pollution, and the use of pesticides and other chemicals that we use to enhance crop productivity are not surprisingly taking their toll on the honeybee. Although Australia is one of the only countries across the world to not be hit just yet, colony collapse disorder, a relatively new phenomenon, is affecting hives worldwide. CCD occurs basically when the majority of worker bees die off during the winter and do not return back to their hives, therefore abandoning the hive and the queen bee. The exact cause or causes of these mysterious declines are not yet known. However, one thing is for certain, and that is that these declines are a reflection of the way that we as humans are failing to manage our use of nature. We consequently need to learn as a society how to sustainably thrive agriculturally without impeding nature, reducing the negative impact that we have on the environment, taking more care with our use and timing of chemicals, utilized agriculturally on crops and gardens, and better beekeeping practices will all go a long way in restoring the symbiotic relationship. The good news is that beekeeping has become very popular, and the number of beekeepers in Australia over the last 7 years has doubled. As a human society, we have a lot to learn from bee colonies, which represent a wise use of nature and intelligence by a community. Dr. Rob Blackhurst, of Philosophy and Religious Studies at Latrobe University, stated that in the past, bees were associated with the human spirit. This is because, although honeybees are cold-blooded, they are able to warm up their hives to approximately the same temperature as a human body. Thus, Blackhurst believes that if there is a problem in beehives, then there is a problem everywhere, and it's got to do with all of us. In the midst of this crisis, however, we can come to learn, so that we as a contemporary society can avoid a similar fate ourselves, brought on by critical environmental concerns threatening our future and our survival. After all, the honeybee is a resilient species that's been around for over 40 million years, providing us with natural resources which have only benefited us. Human uses of honey can be linked to approximately 8,000 years ago, as depicted in Stone Age paintings. In ancient times, honey was also used not only as food, but also as medicine. In our modern society, it has been reported to be full of antioxidants, which can benefit many diseases and conditions as well. As much as we take, we also have to remember to give back. So why don't we start small? You just go out now, buy some seeds, and plant some wildflowers and wild plants in your garden. After all, a variety of wildflowers and plants mean healthier and happier honeybee populations. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.